December 18th. Christmas is coming, and thought I'd switch it a little bit and do a Christmas theme. Can't quite fit the whole tree in the background. It's a nice tree, but here we go. Plank, December 18th. It's been a few days of rest now, so I should feel okay. I've added these weights here to I'm going to try something a little different today. Try to maybe move these up and do a little, I don't know how you call it. Well, it'll be like a top of a push-up. I'm going to hang on to the weights. Maybe that'll stop my wrists from hurting. My wrists haven't been hurting, but I'm kind of worried that they might start. My wrists might get sore from all this top of the push-up plank. My brother messaged that he was inspired by my bad yoga, so I'll probably finish this with a little bit of my bad yoga. I put an extra pad under this mat. It's supposed to really rain today. It's been dry for a few days. My daughter's coming here tomorrow with her new boyfriend. It's about not quite 7 in the morning, or might be right before 7. I started a big load of laundry. I have a whole bunch of laundry to do. I listened to a really long podcast yesterday about murder in Oregon. It was about the 1989 stabbing of Michael Franke, the head of the state corrections department, who was murdered. And they just this year released the Frank Gable, who was wrongfully convicted. It was pretty much a hair-raising story that they convicted him on no evidence. He spent 30 years in prison for something he didn't do. I'm not sure how much they had to pay him, but I think they had to award him millions of dollars for that wrongful conviction. You know, that was just I highly recommend listening to that story. It didn't really conclude either, because I think they're going to add to it, because it was finished right when Gale was convicted, and that was just a recent podcast from I think a little over a week ago. So I think there's going to be another part coming up, probably about his appeals and all the. I know I'd been hearing about that story for years, off and on. And of course, I always thought. I actually believe that he probably was guilty, and they just didn't have evidence, but it was the exact opposite. They had no evidence and he wasn't guilty. I have to drive to Woodland today to do an inspection. I'd almost forgot about it. I was laying in bed this morning awake, thinking I had all day in the office, but I don't. I have to drive to Woodland, which is about 35 minutes away. It's not too bad. A noon appointment too. Traffic shouldn't be bad, but you never know. Okay, I think I'm gonna try this. Well, I'll do a little more elbow. I gotta try to bring these into the. Okay. Oh, that feels good. Feels good not to have my wrist bent like that. Probably works a few different muscles, I suppose, too. Sorry, I can't really face the camera. It's this angle. I know I couldn't quite fit the whole Christmas tree in. It's got Blake's nice ornament there on top from Poland. Unfortunately, you won't be able to see it. Okay, that's probably enough of that. I might go back to that again. I played tennis on Monday. I noticed for some reason I seem to be able to hit a lot better shots when I've been doing this, and my serve is better because seems like my shoulder is a lot better. I'm starting to be able to extend my arm again after years of not being able to toss the ball high. I'm able to toss it a little higher now. It's kind of hard to believe that this would help my shoulders, but it seems like it has. Try to go bowling today. I bowled a 199 game, first game Monday night, and then I struggled to 131 and 138. I thought finally figuring it out, but it never seems to happen. My strike ball's improved, cleaned my ball, but my spare shooting was kind of bad. I had a few splits too, so that didn't help. Let's see how much time is gone. It's over 7 minutes. It's almost 8 now. That seems to help. I think I've had 4 days off. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, yeah. Friday was the last day I did this. So that's almost a little too long. Just so much stuff to do. Glad I'm getting a really compressed workout today. I'll probably go to the club and do some stairs later or ride the bike. Hear the washing machine spinning. Might be finishing. I did check my blood pressure a few days ago. It seemed like it was pretty good. too. It's 56 in the old part of the house, 60 in this newer part. They turned both furnaces off completely last night. It's pretty cold outside too. Okay, it's a little over 10 minutes. So there's the successful plank. Oh, what a relief. I hope that'll give me a springboard into a good day. I drove to the coast yesterday. I'm glad I got that done when the weather was nice. We went all the way to Rockaway. Did a manufactured home in Rockaway owned by the VA. It was funny because there were so many people interested in buying that place, and they just let it sit there. And one neighbor, I asked her how long it had been vacant, and she guessed 3 years. And then I talked to a guy across the street, and he said it had been 5 or 6 years vacant. So I'm not sure. He said they had a yard crew maintaining the yard. Although it was pretty minimal maintenance, but the house itself wasn't in too bad condition. The heat was off, water was off, but it was not too bad. It hadn't been trashed, fortunately. Oh. Then I got back and I had to see a house in Hillsborough. It was almost 4 o'clock, so it was almost dark. I was just able to fit it in, fortunately. Even in this cold room, I almost have gotten a little bit sweaty. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to do it right away, was because this room would be cold and I wanted to have the Christmas tree theme. So I think my first load of laundry is already finished. It's almost the shortest day of the year. It's still dark out. I can see the sun starting to come out. This feels really good. I highly recommend everyone get one of these. Well, even though I haven't been doing the extended plank for a few days, I have been getting up and doing some 5 or 10 minutes of brief yoga fairly every morning, so I don't have to completely do nothing. I think that even if you do 10 minutes, it's certainly much better than doing nothing. Been trying to, in my daily life, try try to run a little bit, across the street, crossing streets, to try to sprint a little bit, because I noticed it's been really hard for me to sprint on the tennis court. Even though I played well, I can't seem to run all that well. But I guess who can at age 60? Not too many people. Larry wanted me to play today, but I told him I couldn't. I had too much work. Well, that would totally destroy my day if I went to Woodland at noon and went straight to the tennis court. I wouldn't get anything done. Facing dog. I guess I gotta get another load of laundry started. Well, I hope Bob said I inspired him, but we'll see what happens with that. But at least he was nice enough to watch some of my last video and send me a note. So that's almost, that's close to 15 minutes of continuous activity. Thanks for watching.